Find it. Cam. There we go. Oh, that did not send. Sorry, everyone. I thought I sent a request. Send a request. Oh, there we go. Or requests. Send. What? It's being funky. Instagram's being funky. Is unable to join. Okay, let's try again. It's being funky. I don't know what's up with Instagram. There we go. Perfect.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. I got a little scared there. I thought Instagram was being weird, but we are all good. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining today. I know a lot of people are going to be really interested in asking you some questions.
Sure.
So yeah, thanks so much for joining. So to start off, do you just want to introduce yourself and say what you do at the university?
Yeah, I was afraid that might happen. My name is Adrian Schwan. I'm a professor of organic chemistry, having started in 1989, before most of you were born. I teach, I have taught first year, and I'm due to teach first year again this fall. I teach third and fourth year in graduate courses. I do organic chemistry research program. I currently have 2 masters and 1 PhD student.
Okay.
That starting date of 1989 suggests I've been around a long time, so I have a pretty good familiarity with our courses and our programs from the Department of Chemistry.
Awesome. So yes, if anyone has any questions, please send them in. But I posted a question sticker earlier today, and some people sent in some questions, so we will check there until anyone else sends stuff in. So let's see. So we have. Are you able to see this on the screen there?
I see. How similar is high school grade 12
Yes.
to the chemistry at university?
Yes.
The content, there can be a lot of overlap of content. I think the differences arise in the depth of the chapters that we say. We may introduce a chapter, we may give you an outline of it, and you'll say, I've seen most of this before. Mm-hmm. In terms of the superficial content, I expect we have, but in terms of the depth that we want, in terms of understanding, mm-hmm. In terms of problems that you calculate, there's some major differences. There's also differences in how much we expect out of you independently, rather than assistance during exams or assistance with problem assignments or things like that. You are more on your own with opportunity to seek help, but that is really on you to seek that help.
Right, and then that kind of leads into the next question here that someone sent in. Will I need a tutor?
I hope not. There's lots of opportunities available, I think, and I think there's a lot of students that seek tutors. I also think that there's more that seek tutors than need to. They just don't have enough faith in themselves, or dare I say, are unwilling to commit the time to settle down, mm-hmm. with their book open, and concentrate on learning the material. Right. I think if you do that, you'll find you won't need a tutor. Right,
and then office hours as well would be very, very helpful, would you say?
Yes, and so you expect your professor to present to you when they will be available to you, mm-hmm. and if that does not happen, you ask them when they're going to be available to you. Mm-hmm. Okay, and again, it's an issue of you solving your own problems, and if I'm telling you there should be office hours, there should be, and if they're not, then it's on you to go seek them out. That's the professor. There may be TAs available. There's SLGs, supported learning groups available. We in chemistry, we will put a TA in the chemistry help room in the library 25 or 30 hours a week. You're just available to walk in during scheduled hours and ask any question you want. And so the opportunities for help, that's another reason why tutor is maybe a later resort, because you have lots of opportunities around you with the professor, with TAs, with SLGs, supported learning group.
Right.
That you can get your own assistance without having to pay for it.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for answering that. Let's see. Here's a question about exams. So are exams typically multiple choice? Can we use calculators?
Yes. Exams will inevitably even be multiple choice in first year because of the large number of students that are required to take chemistry. It is so important. And yes, you'll be allowed to use calculators. We urge you to have a calculator independent of your phone, so you're not on your phone and you're writing an exam.
Yes.
But as you move on past first year, then I think multiple choice will be less important to other formats of questions.
Right. And how big, chemistry, the first year course, how big is that first year course?
In non-COVID times,
yes.
we were exceeding 2,500 in 5 different lecture sections in the fall semester.
Wow.
In COVID, we dropped 200 or 300, I think. And in the winter semester, so everybody in science needs 2 chemistries. Maybe some engineers only need 1 chemistry. But in the winter semester, the continuation, a different subject matter, that's usually about 1,800.
Okay. Very cool. And then another question just got sent in. Where was it? Here we go. What's an example of something we'd be doing in a first year chemistry lab?
I think there might be calorimetry. Again, the COVID times are breaking all the rules and making us find other alternatives to give you an element of practical experience. So there might be calorimetry. There absolutely will be titrations, creating your own titration curve. There might be electrochemistry experiments. So we try to, we have a lot of challenges in creating suitable labs. It's a 3-hour time period. It's got to intersect with the lecture material. It has to be safe. And so we look for opportunities to put that through. And I think over the course of the fall and winter semesters, if we're in normal times, you were doing 8 or 9 practical experiments. Okay.
It's pretty funny to listen to what first year students would be doing chemistry, because I'm a Bachelor of Arts graduate. So like everything you just said about the lab, I have no idea what any of that is.
Yeah, you might have to get a tutor.
All right. Someone said what kind of programs? So what kind of programs are there? So I guess kind of what the chemistry program would look like.
So chemistry, I think we're involved in at least 5 programs. Another one might come to mind. We work with physics. We have 2 joint programs with physics. That's one is called a chemical physics program. The other is called a nanoscience program. And so I'll sort of leave those, chemistry and physics, run them jointly. They're not highly populated, but they're very successful programs, and strong students are in both programs. In chemistry, we manage and oversee a biomedical toxicology program, which is sort of a topic area that most high school students don't know about. So it actually increases in enrollment year after year. And so basically environmental or biomedical toxicology, principally biomedical toxicology, it's a top area. You appreciate as drugs get, I'll say, invented and go through the pipeline, then the issues of toxicology are always front and center and can actually control the fate of selected drugs. In chemistry, we have two programs that are all hours. One is a mainstream honors chemistry that is rather rigorous, that brings you along in physical, analytical, inorganic, and organic chemistry, and you're a strong, broad chemist after that. And then we have biological and pharmaceutical chemistry, which is probably a unique program in Canada. First of all, you might say it's chemistry for the people who don't like physical sciences, because we try to minimize the chemistry and physics to accompany it.
Okay.
And we give lots of opportunity to move into pharmacology or biochemistry or microbiology, although we are training you to be a chemist with fundamental principles and think like a chemist. So I'm insistent on that. I was one of the ones who helped develop that program. What makes it unique is in semester 6, you have an opportunity to go to Seneca College and get training for the generic drug industry. So how pills dissolve in your stomach, how to construct pills, manufacturing lab safety. These are all courses that are offered in that semester 6. I would say anywhere between 12 and 25 of our biological and pharmaceutical chemistry students choose to go to Seneca to get it's a different set of experiences, unique, and we'll give you university credit. We'll give you university credits for the 5 or 6 courses you would take in that term at Seneca College.
Okay.
That decision does not have to be made until maybe late in semester 4, maybe not even that early. But certainly you have time to hear about the program, learn more, see the opportunities, and make that decision. Those 5 programs, I believe, all have co-op related options related to them, so it's an option to do that. We just strive to get 4 working co-op terms for you. And again, COVID times are different, so I don't know what the numbers or success is like there. But the co-op students generally seem to be more self-assured and responsible when I get to meet them at 3rd or 4th year, because they've been on their own in strange cities more and figured things out, just living arrangements as well as a totally foreign workplace for them.
Right. And then just going back to first year, how can students prepare? I know a lot of them are nervous for the first year chemistry. What are ways for them to prepare before starting in the first year chemistry?
Yeah, I think the one thing is to learn how to turn your cell phone off, and learn how to commit time to do something. So in the summer, I'm not going to tell anybody to open a textbook for any of their impending courses. I'm going to tell someone to, whatever you're doing, learn how to concentrate on it and stay focused on it. And so whether it's a hobby or a sport or a novel you're reading, just spend 2 hours straight and learn how to do that without being deterred or drawn away by other attention-grabbing factors.
Yeah.
I think time management, everybody will tell you time management is the issue, and you have to look at your time, in my mind, over the course of a week. If you can't envision it in your brain, make sure you have a calendar in front of you that you use frequently. Don't waste time. 2 hours available between classes can be very valuable. And so, but if you whatever you do to waste time, if you do that, then you are missing opportunities to get ahead or catch up or something. And the other thing is, when you schedule time to do something, do it. So if you had planned to do several hours of homework on a Thursday night and someone invites you out, that's time you don't get back. Okay? And so if you want to go out Thursday night, plan it ahead of time or set that time aside. That's great. And whatever turns out, turns out. But if you're focusing on your committing achievements of your course load material on a Thursday night, stick to it. Okay? And I think that's a real thing. And it took me semester 3 or 4 to manage my time well and get things done. I stayed in residence first year. I didn't start my homework till 11 because I was sort of dinking around with the people in residence from supper time till 11, and then I was always lagging on sleep.
That was me too. Yeah. And then I'm just curious about this. Do you have a favorite class to teach?
Yeah, I have favorite portions of classes.
Okay.
Because there are some learning tools that I have huge belief in, and for the chemists listening to me, you've maybe been introduced to pKa values. Their values are, and you've maybe seen a table of a few entries. That that table spreads a lot wider than you've been introduced to it so far. And I think so much chemistry can be understood by actually relying on so few fundamentals and realizing that everything spreads from those few fundamentals. And one of those fundamentals is the periodic table. But students are often more comfortable memorizing. That works for some students. I think if you recognize the same fundamentals, if you're aware of the same fundamentals and you learn to recognize them in the problems presented to you, then your thoughts go in the right direction. And I have several odds and ends of mnemonic techniques that I present to students, and those tend to be my favorite components of lectures.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to say it. So.
And you were a U of G graduate?
I was not a U of G graduate.
Okay, when you said residence, I didn't. Wasn't sure if I caught that correctly.
I don't. In the chemistry industry, chemistry academics, we don't tend to hire our own.
Okay.
And so the whole idea is if we bring in people educated, and I'm thinking of some of our new colleagues, Concordia and Harvard, or Caltech and Stanford, or then we bring in people who are Michigan and Toronto who come with different ideas. Okay, so the people who depart with a PhD degree to go get more experience before seeking a faculty position, they think like we do, and so there's disadvantages to bringing in those people, because then you're never growing, you're never changing. You want fresh ideas as you build the departments. Yeah,
for sure. And then someone's just asking here then, what was your academic path to becoming a professor? I guess is what they mean.
Yeah, I wanted to be a forensic scientist, a generation ahead of my time, I might add. I was finished reading true crime books before there was a section in bookstores on true crime books. So I wanted to be a forensic scientist. I saw that chemistry was the pathway to do that. I had actually written to Carleton that had a forensic chemistry program, and I got stuff back from the Department of Sociology, and I didn't understand that until I realized the business of understanding the criminal mind. No. I want the crime to happen, and then I'll figure out how it happened. Okay, and so I saw chemistry that way. I stuck with chemistry. If any of your parents remember grade 13, I took grade 13 chemistry in grade 12, and I did the best in the class. I understood things that people didn't, so that reaffirmed chemistry as my pathway. And as I started, I developed a love for organic chemistry, partially perhaps because I could understand it or get it, and then what I saw in that was aspects of being a lawyer, which was also an early career pathway, where when you do an experiment, that's the same as a crime. The evidence is there in front of you, and you have to look at that evidence and interpret in relation to known facts already, which is the history of law and precedents and stuff like that. And so now we do experiments and we look at them and say, what does this mean in relationship to what's already been published in the literature, and can we make a contribution that's different? And so those contributions are never really discoveries about reactions or bonding methods or things like that.
And then you said you were very interested in organic chemistry. I just had someone ask if there are any organic chemistry classes in first year.
In first year, we're going to give you about 3 weeks of organic chemistry. Okay. And then it starts deep in semester 4, and you could have 1, 2, 3, 4. You could have up to 6 organic chemistries if you want.
Wow.
Okay. So and I wouldn't understand why you don't want to. Yes, there's lots of organic chemistry available.
And then someone's just asking here, what are examples of co-op placements for chemistry?
3M has hired our co-op students.
Who, sorry?
3M. Okay. Sorry. And maybe they have. I'm thinking of Xerox. I get them mixed up. Xerox in Oakville has hired our co-op students. Government labs in Ottawa have hired our co-op students. Okay. Johnson & Johnson in Guelph, who make Tylenol, who make nicotine patches. They are a frequent hirer. In fact, they tend to hire 4 or 5 students every term out of our science courses. And then And then when they're looking for full-time employees, they look at their favorite co-op students
Right.
that they've had in the preceding 4 or 5 years.
Yes, that's why co-op is so important, right?
Just before COVID, I had a visit at Apotex Pharmachem in Brantford, and so they wanted to hire our co-op students. The general manager there was a student who worked for me and graduated in 1993, and so they were keen to hire students. We left that in the hands of the co-op office, so I'm not certain where we're sitting. And then COVID hit, so it may not be anywhere at this moment. So there's another one. I can say we have dedicated co-op staff that help guide you on setting up phone interviews or online interviews. They will seek out the positions and post them for you to apply to.
Right.
You don't have to do anything other than when they're posted, you apply to them.
Yeah.
If you're pondering co-op, I think that an open mind is good. You don't want to return to your hometown. You don't want to hope to stay in Guelph. You want to go where the good jobs are.
Yeah.
And they could be in anywhere, and you don't want to restrict yourself in that regard.
Right.
Okay. I think that's an important issue. That's part of the growth of an early 20-year-old is moving communities and self-management. I'm trying to think of more placements. Ag Canada, Minutes from the University has hired people. One of the students who works for me, he was at a meat packing plant in Scarborough. So analysis of entries. Another company is in Mitchell. BioAg, so they're one of Canada's leading manufacturer of nutrients for farm and pet food.
Okay.
And so they have hired a lot of our graduates. They often hire our co-op students to do analysis of drugs that have been applied for the veterinary industry and things like that.
Yeah, no, when you brought up the Johnson & Johnson placement, I remember when my cousin was a University of Guelph student, she did the Johnson & Johnson placement. And I remember I'm a few years younger than her, so I was pretty young. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're making Tylenol? So yeah, thought that was pretty crazy. So, and then let's see if we have any questions. Do you know anything about chemistry study groups?
Well, so the SLG is supported learning groups, and these are organized. I'm not certain who organizes them, but they're actually quite formal, and so there'll be an SLG leader assigned to your particular chemistry lecture, your section, and that individual will sit in on the professor's lecture, have notes, and know exactly what they said and when they said it, and then for an extra 2 to 3 hour period somewhere else in the week, they're going to manage their own study group based on your lecture. And so very, I don't want to say personalized, but personalized to the professor's lecture. And so that is an organized study group. If you haven't been on campus, you haven't seen the Science Atrium. The Science Atrium is wonderful. It's Wi-Fi loaded. It's got round tables, and when you as you move through your degree in second and third year, and you gather a cohort of friends, many friends just gather around a table all day long and leave their junk there and run off to class and come back, and someone's there, and you're always talking about the course content of your various courses. You share 3 or 4 courses, and so that's a wonderful area. Coffee nearby, so the important things are in place, and I'm thinking of one group of people who've gone now off in different directions, but the 3 or 4 of them were all very successful, and they all hung out together at that one table, and came and go as their courses or their lab periods demanded it.
Awesome. And then thank you. And then I thought I'd just ask, just because we're getting close to the end of the live here, what is something that you're looking forward to the most once we are back on campus?
Yeah, I think that question has the answer right in it. Yeah. Back on campus, exactly. I mean, you miss your colleagues, you miss the hallway. You miss the spontaneous conversations. You don't know how people are doing. you know, we have meetings. We have had a couple social meetings online. It's just not the same. I just think the symbolic representation of normality is sort of what I'm striving for. I'd like to get out of the house more. I'm reasonably productive in my home, but it's different.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, no, definitely just excited to be back on campus. I mean, I have my little UofG set up here in the corner of my office, but it's not like being on campus at all. Yeah, this poster is not the same. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I think I just got one other question. After co-op, what type of placements can we expect?
Okay. So I think the one thing that's going to surprise many students is they're going to see opportunities to stay in school and get another degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say probably at least half of the chemistry majors that complete actually stay, not necessarily stay at Guelph, but stay and enrolled in university seeking a master's degree or a PhD degree or an MBA or something else in professional school, dentistry or medicine or pharmacy now is growing.
Yeah.
And I should mention that the biological and pharmaceutical chemistry program was not originally designed to be a lead into a pharmacy program, but certainly we draw a lot of people in for that very purpose.
Right.
And if you're trained in chemistry, then when you're taught organic chemistry as a pharmacist, you don't hate it like everybody else trained from another discipline. Mm-hmm. And you know, a friend did very well, having gone through 3 years of the BPCH program and then moving into pharmacy. A lot of analytical chemistry jobs in the drug industry are available. I think of one person who worked in my lab as a fourth-year project. He got hired at a company in Mississauga called Eurofins Alfora, and so he's looking to sort of do more of a business end as his career advances. But certainly he's doing analytical chemistry, and they're loving him there. And he was not a co-op student. Co-op students will have comparable opportunities or better than the non-co-op students. There are also summer job opportunities each summer where you can do a research experience, and so that can count as a co-op if you're a co-op student. It doesn't need to if you're a non-co-op student.
Right.
And so one of the pieces of advice I have in general is get yourself known in your department. Whatever major you choose, whichever university you're going to, get yourself known in your department. Mm-hmm. Walk down the hallways and make sure a couple profs know you. Make sure you get to know your TAs. It's a community that you want to be part of, and it's beneficial to be part of the community. We have a chemistry club, but there's clubs in many disciplines and many universities. You know, get engaged with that, get to know people, be part. Commit yourself to be part of the academic unit that you're studying in. Mm-hmm. And I think only good things will arise from that. If you don't do that, then you risk kind of getting lost in the numbers and getting forgotten and things like that. And so, be a face that people know, and that's only advantageous.
Perfect. Well, I was about to say to end it off, do you have any advice? But you just wrapped it all up for me. So thank you so much. I don't have any more questions here. So I guess we can just end it here. Thank you so much for joining. I know that was super helpful for a lot of people. For those watching, if you didn't get to see all of it, I post all of it to IGTV. So you can just check it out there. It is with all the other lives that we have done over the past few months. So you can check them all out there. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great one. Okay. It's a beautiful day outside. So everyone, if it's sunny where you are, go out and enjoy the sun. And yeah, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.